Just gotta wait for them to roll in. Let's see here. What's up, Batcave? Reese, Adrian, how's everyone doing? I am early, straight fire. How's everyone doing? So, the title of this video is, Are Reviews Dead? That's my question to you guys. I have some thoughts about it. I've been thinking about it. Hey, Rocky, how you doing? Jason says, when a bunch do the same review one after the other. Yep. Hey, Dan, how are you doing? So my thoughts aren't necessarily along those lines, because I think that's kind of just a symptom of what is going on right now. Really, what I'm thinking is, are like true reviews dead? So whenever the fragrance community started, it seemed like there were more people interested in actual criticism than there are now. And even subscribers were more interested in the criticism of the thing more than before. Now it seems like if you want to have a YouTube channel, you're in a tough spot because you have to do one of two things. Both are a losing game. You either have to make only positive reviews because subscribers don't like negative reviews, or give positive and negative reviews and not get a subscriber base. So it's a really tough call. You get hounded either way. If you want to give honest reviews, people will say that your negative reviews are biased, or they're too negative, or they're hateful, things like that. But that's the point of criticism, right? That you have an opinion about something, that you say something if it's bad or not. On the other hand, if you don't want to go that route and you want to say, if you only want to be positive on your channel, then you're going to be labeled as a shill, or someone who only does something to get something for free, or even if you don't get anything for free, you're just going to be one of those people who only gives good reviews. So my question is, in that situation, what would you do? What would a reviewer do too? And my question is, like, I would just kill reviews. If that's the way it is, I would just kill reviews altogether, because if reviews aren't going to get subscribers, if they're not going to like it either way, then just kill it. And I think that's what has happened in the fragrance community today. Even on my channel, I find it easier to actually make content that is not review related, because for one, it will get more views, more watchers to watch videos that are not reviews. That are just kind of tangentially related to a fragrance in some way, or mini reviews in some cases. And I find that the only case where it seems like there's actual criticism of, or I should say not criticism, but reviews of a fragrance is when it's going to be the next hot thing. And so then they can actually count on views. So we're in a tough spot, and I do think reviews are dead, honestly. The Batcave, I hope they aren't. I've just started a channel. So I don't want to discourage you from making your own channel, but I just want to talk about the current climate of the fragrance community. And I think it's not necessarily the fragrance community's fault. It's not the reviewer's fault. It's not the subscriber's fault. I think partly it's YouTube's fault. If you create a system in which people have to chase views and that kind of thing, you're going to end up with a system that cares less about the actual content and more about numbers. And that's what we have with YouTube today. So there are people who decry, why aren't there honest reviewers, or why isn't there content out there that is substantial? And that's the reason. It's the climate of YouTube has made it conducive for content that is kind of cheap, and has kind of discouraged content that is substantial or substantive. So yeah. Shh, Quiet says, I love watching videos of you smelling things. Well, good for you, because I've got some samples here that I want to try. I've got some samples from Sarah Baker that I want to try here. And I didn't know this, but Sarah Baker commissions a lot of her fragrances out to other perfumers. So I talked about Jungle Jezebel in one of my reviews or videos before. Jungle Jezebel, fantastic. I really like it. It's not something I would wear a lot, but critically, I think it's really good. Then here's another one called Lace by Sarah McCartney. So I want to try that one too. All right, let's see here. Answer some questions here. Reese says, the true reviewers are gone. It's all about hyped frags. You might be right. I can't say that I blame the community or the reviewers, and that's part of where the disconnect is here. There are, TV's on. There are subscribers who are blaming the reviewers, but I don't think that's, I don't think that they're entirely to blame. Partly, the reviewers are just trying to get people to watch their videos. If people watch the videos that subscribers say they want to watch, then reviewers will change the content accordingly. The problem is that that doesn't happen. And so you get this kind of thing where it's that cognitive dissonance between what you say you want, you don't actually want. And so that's the place, it's a hard place for a reviewer to be in. I know that people say they want reviews, they want honest reviews, until they get one, and then they don't want it. And they don't want the reviews, they only want certain reviews, but it's impossible to read people's minds. So now they're giving away content that is easy to make, it's accessible for a large amount of people, and that's the landscape of YouTube right now. I can't say it's good or bad, it's just different. And so my channel has evolved to kind of accommodate that. I would be a true fragrance critic, only reviewing and critiquing fragrances like I did when I started, but that's not where the audience goes. That's not what people want to see. So if I want to stay here, then I have to change. And that's the way reviewers are today. The Batcave, great. I've disliked Jeremy's fragrance my first review. It's not hard. What's funny is that's one video that made me want to talk about this topic, because I really dislike that fragrance, but I dislike the fragrance. It has nothing to do necessarily with Jeremy, even though I don't really care for Jeremy. People say that I hate Jeremy, and I don't. But at the same time, it's like people can't take criticism of a thing without trying to destroy your character as a reviewer. And so it's made it challenging to talk about something in an honest way. So that's one example. It's almost like there are certain things that are above criticism in the community's eyes. You can't say that certain fragrances are bad, because then you're just being biased or subjective. But everyone is biased and everyone is subjective. That's just the nature of humanity and reality. Everyone has an opinion, even critics. And that criticism is going to be biased. But you have to disclose that bias, you have to talk about it, and you have to have a framework and a context to talk about things where a community of people can understand your framework. And I think that's the most important thing. But people don't get that. They don't want that. They just see a negative review. You must be a hater. Agnes says, I want to do only positive, honest reviews because I don't like to be negative while doing my hobby. Well, see, that's your choice, and I can understand that. But I don't see being negative about a fragrance as necessarily being negative. There's a difference between being critical of something and being negative. And if you're talking about a fragrance and you're giving your opinions about something, there's an importance about being negative, being critical about something that is helpful to a community of people. If you're only here, because I want to be honest about things as well, but the way that I see it, and people can disagree, that's fine. And people do disagree. There's some people that really focus on positive reviews, that's fine. The way that I challenge that is, if you only give good reviews and positive reviews, what's the point of watching every video? You can just see the title and then know what your thoughts are going to be about that fragrance. It's going to be positive. So the greater context of honest reviews is that you have to include negative with the positive in order for people to understand criticism in general. That brings more value to your opinion and weight, I think. But some people think differently. All right, let's see here. Robert Quinlan, did I miss much? Well, we've been talking a little bit. It's just been a monologue pretty much. But of course, you can go and watch the video whenever this is archived afterwards. Arnold says, hello from Boston. Hey, I love the Boston area. I have family that live there, so we love to go up there every summer. Jason Wilkie says, being honest is always best. Not everyone will agree in life on anything, let alone a fragrance. Keep it real. I totally agree. I totally agree. But as a reviewer, it's difficult to find an audience that wants that. And even if they say they want that, it's hard to find people that will tune in all the time for it. So because of that, I see that that people go towards more positive or more user-friendly or more kind of accessible type of content. Dan Spino says, I like truth. I don't mind seeing bad reviews. I'm with you. I'm with you. Thank you. Stumptown Smell says, good point, sir. YouTube is a really odd place right now. I agree, especially in the fragrance community. And I think part of that is because we're such a small pool of people with more representatives per capita than probably most hobbies, I would think. So I think there are probably more reviewers per person in the community than the normal than other communities of people, meaning that there is a little bit more almost competition for views, for eyeballs. So you see this in more of a hyper-realized way of seeing this content where everything has to be extreme, where you see all this crazy content or crazy thumbnails, all this type of vying for your attention in some way. I see it more in this community than I have in other communities in the past. Chi-Town, California says, this is a problem for all sorts of different communities on YouTube, like audiophile gear, watches, and cars. Yeah, I could see that. I think I think part of it is part of the problem of just criticism in general, or reviewing, I should say, reviewing certain things in general. Some people go and they watch a review not necessarily to inform their opinion, but to validate their opinion after the fact. They may already like something and they may have already bought it, but then they'll watch a video, I don't know why, but just to kind of validate their opinion or the purchase. And if you disagree with them, they take it personally. I've seen that many, many times. I don't know why people get so upset over an opinion about something, even if you've bought it. Like if you have, say I have, like okay, let me talk about guitars real quick. I love guitars. One of my favorite guitars is kind of a strange shape, and I love it. And people could say that it's ugly. I don't care. It's like my favorite guitar, my number one, and I go to it all the time. But if someone absolutely trashed the guitar and said that it's just an awful piece of guitar, it doesn't play, it doesn't whatever, I'm like, man, I love mine. It doesn't matter what that person thinks. I love mine. I'm going to keep playing it. And that's the way I think that it should be with everything. But there are people out there, they get just really hurt about opinionated things and opinionated people. Arnold says, current climate of the FragCom is pushing me in the direction of starting my own channel. Too much BS, not enough thoughtful content. I agree, Arnold. I totally agree. And that's always been kind of the rub, especially when your channel gets larger. Like this is where, especially in my current phase of my channel is right now, where I want thoughtful content and I don't want dumb content, but I also want to grow and to get people to watch my videos. So the rub is thoughtful content doesn't always create a viewership. Some of my best reviews that I've ever done, some of my best videos that I've ever done, I personally love. It has the best content, don't get a lot of views. So, and then some of the dumb content that is quick to produce, that is easy to make, and easy to suggest and things like that get a lot of attention. So it's easy to think that the opposite is true with people, that people don't necessarily want good content. They want cheap, accessible content. And it's easy for a reviewer to kind of chase after that because it gets discouraged to make something that you love that people don't watch. Robert Quinlan, I just want transparent reviews. I don't care if they are positive or negative. Totally agree. There definitely needs to be more transparency. But I think things are changing, especially seeing, what was it? Was it PT that was talking about, or maybe it was Fragrance Foundation, I forgot. They were saying that everything must be disclosed. It's almost like they watched my video. They probably did. Agnes says, I just don't like being negative in my free time. Like I said, I don't think that's necessarily being negative. Saying something that is critical about something can be a positive thing. For instance, if you have a car and only 3 wheels work, you don't say the car is great. You say that something needs to be fixed. They'll have a recall or something. A car company will have a recall about something because something is not working. That type of criticism is helpful for fragrance companies because they know something isn't right or something isn't working. So it's not necessarily being negative, it's being critical about something in order to affect a positive change. Dan Spanos, you don't have to be Agnes. I totally agree. You don't have to be. Chi-Town, California, a lot of this comes from people buying stuff to seek validation from others. Giving an unfavorable review amounts to rejecting them in their minds. I totally agree. It's just part of it's a weaker mindset. Reese says, you cater for both crowds and you'll say if a fragrance is awful, fragrance one coughs. I agree, I try. I try to balance it as much as I can. I try not to go all out. I try to do something with a twist that will get people interested, but also is very informative. I try. Thank you. I don't always do I'm not always perfect, but I try. Robert Quinlan says, they often want their opinion validated and their thoughts about a particular scent echoed rather than dissected and potentially challenged. I agree. I think being challenged is not comfortable, but being challenged makes you grow, and that's just in life. But even with something that is something silly as maybe an opinion, it makes you think about something in a different context, makes you see something in a different way. I think that's really important. Especially in this hobby, I think it's really great to see something from a different perspective and see how they got there. And that's one of my criticisms with Luca Turin. I think Luca Turin is a terrible critic. He has a pedestal, he has an ability to publish books about fragrance, and that's fine. That's his platform. He can do that, and I applaud him for that. But I think he's a terrible critic because he doesn't criticize in a helpful way. Many times he just wants to be, many times he just wants to be snarky or just say something to be funny in his eyes. And that's okay too, except if he wants to be a critic, does he want to be a critic or an entertainer? And I think that having a review that's only 3 words, which some of them are, and then others which are 3 pages long, is not helpful for the person buying the book. For someone who is a critic, you need to explain how you got to your opinion, not just that you have one. And that's why I think that he's bad there. His reviews are not substantive. His reviews are like, I don't know what they are. I guess they're like the book form of, of the fragrance community right now. Jason Wilkie says, thing is, I've unsubscribed to a bunch of YouTube video creators because I'm sick of the BS. I much prefer to watch people I think are being genuine. A lot of reviewers just want to be monetized. I agree. I mean, I think monetization is important for the longevity of a channel at large. It's almost impossible to continue the hobby for as the reviewer without some type of monetary compensation. It's just impossible. Even some kind of reward, The monetization from YouTube itself is not a lot unless you get to the stratospheric level of views. I know mine certainly isn't, and I make a pretty decent amount of money from views, but it's not enough. It doesn't hold. You can't make a living off just monetization unless you make a lot of views. But also too, from just a psychological point of view, you need to chase the carrot. You need to do something that will keep you going. If you don't have any type of reward or incentive, even like a self-imposed goal or something that you make yourself, it's really difficult and challenging to continue what you're doing. The monetization makes it easier to keep going as a reviewer. Agnes says, I don't want to get monetized because I don't want penny liner ads while I'm smelling my arm and enjoying a frag. Etherealist says, we need more channels like Kilofrags. His video yesterday, Aventus, the drink, was a work of pure genius. I haven't seen that one. That sounds funny. Chi-Town, California. Seriously, how unimaginative do you have to be to name your debut fragrance Office? Hey, I said all these things, but people said I was a hater. Jacqueline's Perfumery says, everyone wants cake bake reviews, LOL. I just want cake, says Robert Quinlan. I do too. Make me some cake, please. I made a pie the other day that was amazing. It was a chocolate silk pie. The first pie I've ever made, and I was really lucky that it came out. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to smell these things, I guess. Agnes says, I'll think about that. Yeah, definitely. Something to think about. Chi-Town, California. Knowledge is power. And for me, the best way I found out what I liked was to find what I didn't like. That's exactly right. And I think that's one of the main benefits, too, of a reviewer. I have some people that watch my channel who disagree with all of my reviews, but they find benefit in it because they understand that their taste is the polar opposite of mine. So when I like something, they'll hate it, and vice versa. If I hate something, they'll like it. So that's very beneficial for them. Jason Pohl, hey. Hey, Daver. Hey, how are you doing? Is that Gut? Warda? Hello from Norway? Hey, how are you doing? Wow. It must be late over there. Wow. JJ the Jet Plane. Being honest is most important, but also opinions are subjective. And one person might like something, whereas someone else might not like something. And there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. I totally agree. Nah DT says, I respect your opinions very much. Thank you. I appreciate you watching. DFW Shade says, before picking up a new fragrance, I read and watch whatever reviews I can find. But if people are afraid to be critical, it's really hard to feel confident in making a well-rounded purchase decision. I totally agree. I totally agree. The problem, as I said, is how does a reviewer do this while keeping people engaged in the channel? That is the problem. If I make a really good review, so one, let's see. So my Amber series, for instance. My Amber series is a series that is reviews. Not a lot of people watch that. And I knew that people wouldn't watch that, but I did it anyway. And one reason why I did it was I did it as another experiment of things to see where people would watch. Because I knew that amber is a very popular note. A lot of these amber fragrances are very popular, but people don't want to watch reviews. So I did a kind of an experiment over a year long. I still have more to do. If you want a review, go watch. I have a review coming of one by Atelier Doors. Anyway, but my Amber series is an ongoing review series, and people don't watch it. So even though I like doing those reviews, it's difficult to want to make more when people say they want honest reviews, but they don't watch. Jacqueline's Perfumery says, as long as everything is happy and validating, there's no reality in it. Then when people get bad fragrances, the reviews will be blamed, although everyone is responsible for their own purchases. I totally agree. And that is the problem. That is a problem. Rizwan Rahim says, few reviewers alive now and active in this forum. Yeah, I think you might be right. I mean, I would say that a lot of YouTubers are, under the umbrella of reviewers, but I think you're right. I think mostly people are not making true reviews. They're just mentioning a fragrance in a certain way, maybe for entertainment purposes. I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but I think that people are trying to get a wide audience and talk about fragrances, not necessarily review. Sam Ham, what do you think about Renaissance by Xerjoff? I haven't tried that one. I gotta try it. I think I have a sample of that one. I think I got it recently. Chi-Town, California. Exactly. People seek validation, and in their minds, a bad review is tantamount to social rejection. Yeah, totally agree. It shouldn't be. Dingo L. Hey, Daver. Fragrance companies often give away samples and full bottles to reviewers. I fear many of the beginning reviewers don't want to do negative reviews in fear of losing the free perks. Here's my problem with that line of thinking. I understand what you mean. It's a very common sentiment in the community. I've been doing negative reviews of lots of fragrances for a long time. Some of them, especially like Thierry Mugler. Thierry Mugler would give us a fragrance every release, and a lot of the pure flankers, we would be like meh, or they're not good. Some of them were okay, some of them were good. But whack pack, hashtag whack pack, my new cuddles. But so we would do negative reviews often, and they would thank us for it. And then I just got recently, I did one, a negative review about John Varvatos, Nick Jonas, and they thanked me for it, because I don't think that that's inherently true. It doesn't have to be true that people giving away free bottles are looking for promotion or just positivity. Because critical opinions are helpful, like I was saying. It's not necessarily the case that people are just wanting advertising. Because you don't give a channel with 2,000 subscribers something for advertising. It doesn't make sense. You give away something for advertising for someone, like a Jeremy Fragrance who has, like 100,000 subscribers plus or whatever he has. I don't know. But you give someone something like that. And look, I'm not picking on anyone who's doing anything for advertising, but I don't think a lot of these companies are necessarily looking for promoters or advertisers. I think they're looking for people that are talking about their fragrance in an honest way. I think that's the most beneficial form of word of mouth. If you have an honest opinion that is, maybe it's critical, maybe it's positive, maybe it's pros and cons of both, that is the best, most weighty form of word of mouth to your audience, because they see that and they understand. Whereas I think everyone is seeing the watered down type of reviews that don't have a lot of weight to them. They don't have a lot of authority to them, because we know that some people out there, they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them, so to speak. They don't want to kind of ruin a good thing that's happening. They want to keep kind of freebies going. But like I said, I don't necessarily think that that needs to be the mindset that people have. I don't think that's where most companies are. Agnes continues and says, I can't really make critical reviews because I only own fragrances, which I love. I wouldn't buy a bottle of one I didn't like, so I have nothing bad to review. I understand that point of view. I mean, I think that is one point of view, and that can be your thing. But no fragrance is perfect. Every fragrance has pros and cons. I think even if you own something, your taste changes. I have fragrances that I like that my taste changes, and now on some fragrances, like I've done before, it's like I'm not going to buy this again, or I won't rebuy this, or I don't like this anymore. Things like that. You can still be critical about something, tell the goods with the bads, while still being overall positive, a net positive. All right, a lot of comments here. Jacqueline's Perfumery, if we were in person, the politics would go out the window, honestly. Online brings out too many keyboard troll warriors. LOL trolls have ruined the platform. I totally agree. Chi-Town, California. On a lighter note, what frag are you wearing? I'm wearing Truth by Calvin Klein. I haven't put on a fragrance just yet. I'm gonna put one in a little bit, but it'll probably be Dior Homme Cologne. I've been just wanting that one recently, just recently. And it hasn't cooled down enough to where I can rock a fall fragrance just yet. Nah, DT says, channels are full of BS and clickbaits. Some of them are. CG100 says, do you think interest is also waning because reviews have become so redundant? Many reviewers say the same thing about everything everything sent for review, then repeat it over and over again. Possibly so. I don't watch a lot of reviews for that main reason. I don't want to become kind of the echo chamber. And I don't know. I mean, that's a good point. I think if you get to that point, honestly, it seems like a lot of people in the community, subscribers, have this type of sentiment where they're tired of being people who are just saying the same thing over and over. And listen, I don't know who these people are because I don't watch a lot of reviews, so I'm not throwing stones at people who are just making positive reviews. I have nothing against people who are making reviews like that. But at the same time, like I said, there's importance in being forthcoming and being critical, being actually critical about something. Jacqueline's Perfumery says, best to meet up in person for this hobby because too much stupid politics online and no one would say as much as they would in person, not balanced. Yeah. She says, there is corrective criticism and that is okay. Totally agree. There is. And I think part of that is, saying if something is bad or not. So I was going to try some Sarah Baker fragrances. I guess I'm not going to today. But and then there's also the thing about style too. Some people have a style of opinions and reviews that is just different. And some of mine are very critical, and some of them are almost stylized negatively in that way. And some people don't like that type of overtly opinionated type of critique, whereas some people enjoy that. I'm just going to be me, so that's just going to be me. But I think there is still something there to have an entertaining type of critic as well. So what I'm saying is there is a kind of there is a type of criticism that is positive, and then there is a type of criticism that is entertaining, but can still be overall positive if you see it in a way that doesn't hurt your feelings. All right, let's see here. So many comments here. Thank you, everyone, guys. David Ereshmashlifley says, bro, get naked, spit a lot. Say the word so in an Australian accent. So, like that, is that how you do it? Make top 10 videos every time you'll grow. But if you want thoughtful content, you'll be stuck between 36 and 40,000. Possibly. I mean, that still doesn't bother me. Still a great, a lot of people. Robert Quinlan, just like Mike Tyson said, put them in a room with me and watch how friendly they become. Trolls are just an annoyance. That's true. I delete comments all the time. Nazi T says, haha, that's it. David Earlishmilfley. Okay, I'm not going to pick on reviewers. Sarush USA says, Tom Ford is designer. Don't argue with me. I mean, Tom Ford is a designer. He's a clothing designer. Tom Ford fragrances. This is the problem too, which I'll have a video about this, is there is no such thing there's no such thing as niche or designer. Diploma Set says, I don't mind monetizing, but I am tired of the repetition with the community. The intentional dumbing down for views, I've unsubscribed. Yeah, I understand. I totally understand. Jacqueline's Perfumery says, nothing wrong with monetization. People work and get paid, and the hobby is expensive, but that shouldn't deter you if people are being honest. Who wouldn't take free stuff? And also, this is the industry. LOL. What the freak? LOL, seriously, get a life. Yeah, I agree. People are upset. People are upset, I think. I don't understand the point of view where people are upset that people are getting paid or they're getting something, some kind of compensation for something that they're doing in response to their work. So, I mean, I could say, hey, why is the CEO of a company making $36 million a year? Why should he make $36 million a year? I want to be making $36 million a year. It's not fair that he's making $36 million a year and I'm making $36,000 or whatever. You know, that's not how much I make. I'm just saying. But they work for that. He or she that's a CEO making $36 million a year works for that. That's what they do. They're worth $36 million a year. Fragrance reviewers or influencers, if they're getting paid for sponsors doing that, or if they're getting bottles in compensation for making some type of content or whatever, or just maybe just for review or whatever, however you want to put it, they work for that. It's a trade. Batfink Frindle says, David, it's a pleasure. Hey, how are you doing, Batfink? All right, I'm way behind, but yes, whack pack, whack pack. Jason Wilkie says, maybe I shouldn't have put it in a better way about monetization. Should have put it in a better way about monetization. I'm not against people earning from their work at all. Just some of these reviewers put out so many videos that content suffers. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Jacqueline's Perfumery. I love the negative reviews. They make me laugh because it's more realistic to what really happens in life. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. How many times have you smelled something and you went, oh, it smells awful? Why can't a reviewer do that? People react like that all the time. Or the opposite, where people go, oh my God, that's so amazing. People do that all the time. There is something that resonates with people when you have some kind of visceral response like that. And you can communicate that. I think that's important. And the opinions get redundant with little, if any, negativity. I understand what you mean. I think just some reviewers are in a spot where how are they going to give honest, or I should say, how are they going to give very critical reviews while still keeping an audience interested? Like I said, there's a large segment in the fragrance community that does not want negative reviews. Viewers, not reviewers. Viewers themselves, subscribers, They don't want negative reviews. So they say if you dislike anything, you're a hater. It's a very difficult, it's like a land, I mean, it's a catch-22 is what it is. It's a catch-22. Either way is impossible. So reviewers out there are doing what they think they can do to for longevity's sake. And I can't say I blame them. It's just their own personal thing there, I guess. DFW Shade, here's a different idea. Soothing frags for when you're feeling under the weather. EUK007 says, hi, first time on your live stream channel. Hey, how you doing? Mr. Miami Cuddle says, entertainment, yeah, which I think that's fine. Chi-Town, California, David, have you tried Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme? Yes, I have. I think it's very good. Diploma Set says, I was watching a live stream with Eugene and Christo last week, and they were saying you've hooked them up in the past and your sense of humor off camera. Yeah, I've definitely given them some stuff before. It's been several years ago. But yeah, I love those two. I love those two. And they're two that I really like because they're like cut from the same cloth as me. So they don't mind being humorous. They don't mind being brutally honest. I like both of them together. They play off really well with each other. I think they're a great team. But I respect both of their noses individually too. I think whenever they get together, I think they're even better. But by themselves, they're fantastic too. Now DT says, I guess your audience is more mature and we're just fewer on YouTube. Unfortunately, that reflects on your numbers. But I'm glad there are people like you with content that I can actually respect. Well, I appreciate that. Mihai Nistor says, hello, Daver. I am from Romania, and I watched your Amber series. I'm still waiting on your opinion on Grand Soir. I do need to review that one. I have a sample of it, so maybe I'll add that one to the Amber series. I'm sorry if that might not be an Amber one. I'm not sure. I get so confused. So many fragrances sometimes. Paul Tashman. Hey, Paul, how are you doing? He says, I just want to hear personal stories behind a reviewer's scent memories. I really like that too. I think that's really fun. I have a couple that I want to do kind of in a more cinematic way. Maybe I'll do that. We'll see. Smayu says, Dior Homme is perfect. Yep, totally agree. Agnes Eva says, my frags are all perfect, LOL, at least for me. Okay. I know your next review is going to be good then. Jacqueline's Perfumer, let's see. Jacqueline's Perfumery says, that is true, Agnes, and that is the most... And that is most here. We all buy most of what we like, but sooner or later you're going to confront a stinker, and it's okay to share that. Sad that people reject that, though. Yeah. Nathan Fuller says, I think it's weird how certain fragrances get hyped. It's like everybody gets together and says, let's hype this fragrance. I think it's funny. I think it might just be... I think there's just a tipping point. So someone will say something that gets a lot of attention, and then it just causes a chain reaction, and there's a tipping point, and then that becomes, the next thing. Okay, I'm just scrolling over here because I have so many comments. Mr. Miami Cuddle says, the worst concept is when people tell what they wore on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I wore Aventus on Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. Jacqueline's Perfumery, well, they are put out in the masses by companies to be promoted, or many are just buying it at the same time. Yeah, that's true. If I'm following your train of thought, talking about companies sending out promotional products, they'll be on a campaign. The thing is, like, a lot of these companies, if you were to contact the actual company to review a fragrance, they wouldn't respond because they handle, a lot of these companies, they have a PR agency, an outside PR agency that handles these. So the PR agency oftentimes will do a campaign where they'll reach out to several different people at the same time and send it to them. So that's a PR agency thing. It's not necessarily the company itself. The company probably doesn't mind. They're paying for promotion. So the PR company is promoting. And so what they're doing is they're kind of doing almost like a grassroots type of thing where they're giving out a product to see about honest reviews from communities of people who have pockets of influence. So that's what the PR agency is doing. It's a very cheap way they can kind of leverage promotional power. Nathan Fuller, and great fragrances like Aqua Fahrenheit get discontinued. If they'd sent it to all these reviewers, I bet it would still be around. The hype train is real. You might be right. But I thought didn't they change that to Fahrenheit Cologne or something like that? They changed it. Because Aqua Fahrenheit was really good, but I thought they changed the name, but the scent was pretty similar. Bat Fink Reynolds says, many of the reviewers I used to watch are rarely posting, like Imitsu. Yeah, he was a great reviewer. Of course, I don't really keep up with everybody, so I don't know who is or who isn't posting now. Diplomaset says, have you seen any of Mr. Miami Cuddle's shirtless reviews? Epic. Can we expect one from you? Man, you don't want to see me with a shirt off. But I haven't seen Mr. Miami Cuddle's shirtless reviews. Chris N says, I enjoy negative reviews, but even if someone doesn't like a fragrance, you may enjoy, and Clone House reviews are getting old. At the end of the day, you have to try it yourself. At the end of the day, Le Bleu d'Issey. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think that's one thing that I don't say as often as I should, that I don't explicitly say. All of my reviews should be taken with a grain of salt and that you should try them yourself. I want everyone to go out there and try stuff. I don't want people just to take my review as gospel. I want people to take it and let it challenge them to try things, or let it be kind of an impetus to go out and sample that fragrance. Mr. Miami Cuddles, Daver used to be sub to me. I don't know what happened. Am I not sub to you? I sub to everyone. I didn't unsubscribe. Sarush USA says, you want a good critical opinion? Here's one. There are no reviewers from the West Coast to show that 99% of the fragrances are not suitable for a weather like Arizona's. That's real talk. Okay, everyone's talking about smells fishy. I have no idea who that is, guys. Jacqueline's Perfumery, you need to talk more on that about there's no difference between a concept of niche versus designer. Yes, hit that. People will flip their lids, LOL. Yeah, you're totally right. I've been thinking a lot about the thoughts. I want to get all my thoughts in a row before I make the review, but I have a video. I think it's almost done in my mind. I think it's cooked enough. So I think I'll make that review pretty soon. Diplomacy Lost from the Loft are ones to check out too. Yeah, I agree. They're a great duo. They have a great opinions. Really like them. Batfink Reynolds says, Daver, can you tell me why you think they make frags that smell revolting like that one, like Blood French Company? I'm not sure I follow you. What are you talking about? The Batcave says, exactly, you pour your heart and soul into a well-done review and you get 20 views if you're lucky. Unfortunately, that's the way it is sometimes. Orange Muscle, Daver, one frag only per season and go. Want to see if I have them already. Oh man, okay, so fall, I would say fall to me would be Memoirs of a Trespasser. Winter would be Bois d'Argent. Spring would be Ombre Nuit by Dior. And summer would be, let's say summer would be Dior Homme Cologne. We'll say that. But I don't know. That's just a quick answer. I don't know if I would even do that. Ngoy Kakupomo says, hey Dave, show us your bottles of Office, please. We know you hoard a lot of it. That's right. Ryan Huerta says, good cop, bad cop. That's how I see Christo and the guy with the pretty wife. Are you talking about Quinn? I think, because I know Quinn is a reviewer in Texas and his wife is gorgeous. But I don't know I don't know the wives of everyone. I don't know what their wives look like. Mr. Miami Cuddles, have you seen the Fragrance Apprentice video with the green screen falling? No, I haven't. That's funny. Mr. Alex Lowen says, now that Jeremy's channel has become a continuous marketing campaign, there is more room for good reviewers to emerge, in my opinion. See, for example, the increasing success of Ashton. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Ashton has a great channel. I wouldn't necessarily say that he's a critic necessarily. I think he is more of an entertainer. I think there's a place for that, but he has a great channel. I think he deserves all the he deserves all the success and attention that he gets. But I don't know if I necessarily call him a hardcore critic or a reviewer necessarily. Oh, Mark Reed says, Dave, you're maximum. Batfink Reynolds, Dave, are you scrolling up? Yes, I am. That's why my finger is here. I'm scrolling up because I'm on my phone. So the comments are like right here. So I see it and I have to scroll up right there. Nathan Fuller says, I want to review Spice Blend by Dior, please. I want you to review, he says, of me. Yeah, I definitely want to get that. I really want to try it because it's supposed to be based on Bay Rum, the aftershave. So I really want to see what it's like. But I really, really want to try that one. I like Spice in general, and I like Dior, of course. And I am somewhat of a fan of Bay Rum, even though it's not my favorite. But so I think that I will like this. I think I'll like Dior's interpretation of it. The Batcave says, have you tried Eau de Nuit by Armani? I have not. Is that one of their private lines? I haven't tried any from their private lines, but I really want to. Tri-Town, California, Daver, how could you compare Cool Water to Nautica Voyage? I don't think they're very similar. Cool Water to me is more aromatic, and then Nautica Voyage is more of that kind of cotton water type of thing. So Nautical Voyage smells more like a candle, like a cotton smelling candle. And Cool Water just smells more aromatic. The Batcave says, unfortunately, the whole social media atmosphere has enabled narcissism to a fault. Totally agree. And that's not just with reviewers, though it is with reviewers, people with a larger audience. But even just regular people, I find like I see people, friends of mine that have Instagrams, and they're constantly documenting their day on Instagram. I'm like, I just don't get it. Like, why are you wasting your time? Robert Quinlan says, always trust your own nose. If you enjoy it, then wear it without a second thought. Totally agree. Batpink Reynolds says, I met with a Canadian reviewer here. He was pretty depressing in person. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. Mr. Miami Cuddles, I think adding humor to your reviews would be great, David. I mean, I do add humor to my reviews. I think all my reviews have humor in there. I wouldn't say I'm a comedian, though I do have some videos that are more funny, that are funnier than others. Greg Larson says, David, it's nearing fall. Will the beard make a return visit? I'm hoping so. Yeah, I think it will. I think it will. Pulse points. Yo, what did I miss? Almost an hour's worth of time. John Tarakjian says, hey, David, any Acqua di Parma that you recommend? I think Fico d'Amalfi is probably my favorite from them. It has kind of a quasi-fig-like smell. I think that one's one of their good ones. Colonia is really good if you like the kind of old school Italian type of scents. Acqua di Parma is good because it specializes in an Italian style. And if you don't know what Italian style is, Acqua di Parma is where to go. They're different. So the Italian style has a very distinct citrus-forward presence. And Acqua di Parma is just one of those type of things that I think is a great place to hit. But I think Fico d'Amalfi is one of my favorites. John Tarakjian says, +1 for Spice Blend review. Ryan Huerta says, how are your biscuits this morning, David? LOL. Do your Spice Blend smell similar to 1899? Oh, okay. Interesting. I didn't have any biscuits, but I need some now that you say that. Eugene, you smells good. Hello, Dave. What's up? Whack Pack in the house. Eugene, how are my eyebrows? I need your comments about my eyebrows now. The last time you commented about my hair, I needed to ask you about my eyebrows. The Batcave says, it's just like when people don't want to see negative content on Facebook and IG. Yeah, you're right. Hillary Schwartz says, hi, Dave. Hey, how you doing, Hillary? John Tarakjian says, by the way, I got a few of the Imaginary Authors bottles you recommended, and I love them. Thank you. You're welcome. They have a great line. All the ones that I recommend, I think, are some of their best. They have some that are kind of under the radar that are not my favorite, but some people really like them, like Bull's Blood. Some people really love Bull's Blood. I think it's really challenging, but some people really like it. Some people really like Violet Disguise. But yeah, all the ones that I recommended, I think, are some of their best. It's just a great line. So I'm thankful that you said that. Thank you. Chi-Town, California says, I think human beings weren't meant to have social media and the internet. Maybe not. I don't know. Probably weren't also meant to have French fries, but hey. Batfink Reynolds says, what, Batcave, it was Secretions Magnifique, Atat Livre d'Orange. Wonder what Dave thinks of it. I actually have a first impressions of that. Go watch it. It's, you'll laugh. Kingdom Athlete says, do you think L'Homme Ideal cologne is going to go up in price? Well, if it's discontinued, it will. But I don't know when. I couldn't say when. Just depends on the ratio of supply to how the demand is, really. MBD says, how do you weigh your enjoyment of a fragrance versus common opinion? I ask because I like bull's blood. So that is a great question, because I know there are kind of two extreme forms of thought. One says you should wear fragrances for other people to get and then the other one says you should only wear what you like. I'm kind of in the middle. It depends. I kind of weigh it in a way that says how much do I love it versus how much do other people hate it. So, like, Poivre Samarcand is a perfect example. Poivre Samarcand, I absolutely adore. I love it, love it, love it. But my wife absolutely hates it. So for me, it makes it difficult for me to do something if, you know, my partner, my life partner, hates something. So that's difficult. There are other fragrances that I like or love that she is not a fan of, but then I'll keep. So Poivre Samarcand I'm selling because, unfortunately, as much as I love it, she thinks it smells like sweat. So can't do that. But what I would say is bull's blood, I probably wouldn't ask people's opinion on bull's blood, but I would wear it if you absolutely love it. If it's something that you like, that you just enjoy every once in a while, I would just kind of maybe not wear it around a lot of people. But if it's something that you absolutely love, maybe just wear it whenever you want. Desert Crossfitter says, what are my opinions on Creed Viking? I have a full review. You can go watch that. MBD, how do you weigh your enjoyment of a fragrance versus common opinion? Oh, I already answered that one. Kasim A says, Daver had the best laugh in Fragcom. I'll fight anyone who disagrees. I'm laughing just for you. Sin of the Day, Zerzhov, Alexandria 2. Awesome. I think I have a sample of that one. D. Smith, hey Dave, what's the best place to buy legit decants? Legit decants. So I get a lot of decants, honestly. I get a lot of them from eBay because they're pretty legit. Also, if you want kind of a more expensive place, you can go to the Perfume Court. Now that is a legit place. They have a lot of stuff, but they're more expensive. You're going to pay more money for that. There are other places you could just kind of look up, you know, samples of places. Some places will sell just samples of things like Lucky Scent or Perfumology. They'll sell like little vials of something so you can try. So if you don't want like a decant of something but want to try something, you can try those places. But those are just a few places. Also, too, there are forums on Facebook you can go to, and they sell decants. A lot of forums on Facebook. So I would look at forums probably first because they usually have the better deals. But then again, you also have to deal with people. So you have to weigh it there. Orange Muscle says, as I'm watching this, I go and check my mail. New bottle of Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Extremely excited. Awesome, man. Hillary Schwartz says, I ordered a sample of Rolling in Love after your first impressions during the last live chat. It's so good. It is good. It's so good. Mr. Miami Cuddle says, Fragrance Bros, do you still talk with Jer? I'm not really up to date on what happened. Yeah, I do. I actually saw him about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. He moved back in town. So some people don't know, but he moved away. He moved to Virginia for a couple of years. And then recently he just moved back into town about just like 2 minutes down the street from me. So I can go and see him every once in a while. But yeah, we talk all the time. We're constantly talking. But as far as seeing him, I haven't seen him in like a couple of weeks, but we're probably going to get together soon and go out to lunch or something soon. Pulse Points, did you hear why commodity scents failed? I'm loving their fragrances and regretting not discovering them sooner. Not really sure. You know what's funny about commodity is they were a little bit snooty with me when we talked. They contacted me and asked me if I wanted to review any of their scents. And yes, you can send me, I said, yeah, please send me a bottle of one of your fragrances and I'll review the bottle. And they said they didn't want to do that. And that's fine. That's their prerogative. But they didn't want to do that. And their email was a little snooty. So, no skin off my back. If they didn't want to do that, that's fine. But I don't really know why they failed. I mean, I guess with anything, it's just exposure and getting sales. I mean, I think that if they didn't want to send out a bottle for a review from one of the biggest reviewers in the fragrance community, that kind of says a lot about their priorities about things. So, I mean, that may have played into it. I don't know. John Tarakjian says, I actually didn't like Dave's laugh. I think it's awesome now. It grows on you. I'm not laughing just on purpose, but I think that's funny. Greg Larson, recommended fragrance for a beer festival. Yes, Sova by Slumber House. They have a hops note in there. That sounds awesome, though. Beer festival, man. John Tarakjian says, David, would you consider doing a best of each category? Like, for example, I didn't see it. Best citrus perfume, best oud perfume, etc. Maybe. I don't really know. Maybe. I'll think about it. All right. I know I haven't answered everyone's questions, guys, but I have got to go. It's getting late, and I started late. Cali Reviews, how you doing? Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. I've got to go, but I hope you have a great day, and I hope you smell good, and I will see you next time. How do I exit out of here?